Greetings, geeks. Adam and Michael here, welcoming you to a special preview episode of Wizards, the podcast guide to comics. You know, with March Madness in full swing, it got us thinking. Somewhere in the multiverse, there's probably a version of this podcast where, instead of re-examining comic book history through the pages of Wizard magazine, we're hosting a nostalgic show covering every issue of Sports Illustrated from the 90s and beyond. Just imagine us talking about Michael Jordan instead of Michael Turner, or Frank Thomas instead of Frank Miller. And rather than sounding the damage control alarm, we'd probably be shouting, "Boom shakalaka!"
You know, Frank Thomas isn't in basketball, right?
I'm keeping it in Chicago. You know, it's just Chicago sports. I know some things.
But you know us, we love comics, and that's why this reality, we'd be filling out our March Madness brackets the only way a true geek could, seeding Spider-Man as the Cinderella story, giving Batman the strategic edge, and assuming the Hulk just smashes his way straight through to the Final Four.
So today we're announcing an event that feels like it came right out of the pages of Wizard magazine, because if you read Wizard in the 90s, you know there are always two things they love doing. One, ranking superheroes, and two, arguing about who would win in a fight.
So today, we're combining those classic debates with another concept that completely takes over the world every March: March Madness.
That's right, we built a 68 character tournament bracket featuring the greatest heroes from Marvel and DC Comics.
Spider-Man, Batman, Superman, Wolverine, Hulk, Wonder Woman, Flash, Captain America, you name it.
Street-level heroes, cosmic gods, sorcerers, mutants, and a few wild cards that are absolutely going to make people freak out.
And here's the twist. We're not deciding the winners.
You are.
We're announcing the seeding and the matchups today, and then putting every single fight as a poll on our Instagram at wizards_comics.
So if you want your favorite hero to advance in the tournament,
you're going to have to head over to our Instagram at wizards_comics and vote yourself.
Over the next couple weeks, we'll follow the bracket all the way down to the final matchup to determine
who's the greatest superhero in all of comics.
That's right, this is Wizards, the podcast guide to comics, Marvel vs. DC heroes, March Madness. And trust me, some of these matchups are going to have you geeks pulling your hair out until you look like Lex Luthor.
Is that a personal attack? I feel attacked. Now, before we reveal the matchups, we want you to play along with us.
That's right, we've created an official Wizards, Marvel vs. DC March Madness bracket that you can fill out at home.
All you have to do is head over to our Instagram at wizards_comics and give us a follow, and you'll get the official bracket posted there.
Just fill it out, make your picks for who wins every matchup all the way to the championship.
And then email your completed bracket to wizardscomicspod at gmail.com.
We'll be tracking the results as the tournament unfolds, and whoever has the closest bracket to the final results will win a prize from us here at Wizards.
But there's a deadline. Your completed bracket must be submitted by March 15th, because the polls will start coming out March 16th.
Yep, and once the first round polls go live on our Instagram, you want to be there, so mark your calendars, geeks.
The power is in your hands, because every single matchup in this tournament will be determined by you, the listeners. So make sure to follow us at wizards_comics on Instagram, vote in the polls in our stories, and see if your bracket survives or gets completely busted, just like every March Madness bracket ever created.
That's right, Wizards, the podcast guide to comics, Marvel vs. DC March Madness is running wild, and you could walk away a winner. Good luck, geeks.
So now, I'm going to just give you all a taste of what the bracket's going to look like, and then you'll be able to see when you'll be able to download. I haven't filled anything in yet on purpose because I don't want anyone to know what it is yet. So who's what. So here's the bracket I generated. By the end of the day today, every one of these outer squares will be filled in with a character, and then you'll be able to get that bracket and download it, or email us. We'll send you a screenshot or however you want it. I don't know, or you could just screenshot it on Instagram and then fill that bracket in. And again, make sure it must be emailed to us at wizardscomicspod@gmail.com by March 15th.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun to see how this develops as everybody is, making their votes known, and then we'll see, who comes out on top. I mean, honestly, this could go either way. This could be popularity, this could be power rankings. Who knows what people's metrics are that they're going to vote based on?
This could be absolutely anything. So, for those of you who know much about March Madness, and I know Adam knows very, very little, but I'll give you all a little bit of an insight. So, there is 64 teams in the official tournament, but there are 68 teams that try to make their way in, and they have a play-in. So I took the liberty ahead of time and picked the play-in people. So I pit against Punisher and Black Lightning, and Punisher won. I went Namor versus Animal Man, and Animal Man won. I did this by using a really fun website that I use called the Wheel of Names, and just kind of like Wheel of Fortune, you spin it. So then I have Ms. Marvel versus the Spectre, and the Spectre won. And now this one I think people are going to be mad about, but this is how it played out, folks. Shang-Chi versus Swamp Thing, and Shang-Chi won.
Whoa, look out.
So those are the 4 that I'm telling you so far are in the first round. Punisher, Animal Man, Spectre, and Shang-Chi. Who they're versing, you'll have to wait and see. Every single day, I will be posting several polls for the various matchups. You'll be able to vote on those matchups each day. That will determine who will move on to each round. And by the end of March, we will have the final 2 and see who comes out as the grand champion, greatest hero of all time in comics. I'm going to be filling out my bracket as soon as I get it ready. What about you, folks? Are you ready to fill out your brackets? Remember to go to our Instagram at wizards_comics and like and subscribe, follow us, and get that bracket, and don't get busted.